This year, 22 AD, Emperor Tiberius grants his son Drusus additional political power. The rebel armies in China run amok, and Wang Mang begins to make his final stand to stay in power at the head of the Qin dynasty. Welcome to the Yearly Histories, where we will highlight the major events that take place in the Common Era, year by year. Last year, we saw the Romans dealing with a revolt in Gaul and North Africa, Drusus celebrating a triumph in Rome, and Wang Mang seeing both of his heirs die in a single year. This year, the Romans are ramping up their attempts to take down the rebel Tacfarinas once and for all. Quintus Junius Blasus, who is tasked by Emperor Tiberius to complete the mission, goes on the attack. He is able to capture Tacfarinas' brother in an ambush and retreats back to Roman territory as the winter begins. Tiberius assumes that this is the end of the rebellion and awards Blasus with the title of Imperator, which is an act that is quite out of the ordinary. Typically, this title is solely granted to members within the imperial family. Speaking of the imperial family, Tiberius moves forward with his efforts to consolidate the future succession of his son and heir, Drusus. A year after his triumph, he is granted Tribunicia Potestas, or tribunician power. Tribune used to be an important office reserved for plebeians during the time of the Roman Republic, to allow them to advance their causes and prevent the noble patricians from abusing their power. Augustus co-opted the title in 23 BC, and it has been held by the imperial family ever since. To begin the year in China, Wang Mang recalls all state monopolies of the Qin dynasty as they are unenforceable during the current situation. These include goods such as liquor, salt, iron implements, and more. Wang Mang had made many quite ambitious reforms to the entire system of the previous Han dynasty which he usurped and made his own, such as sweeping land reforms, abolishing slavery, and nationalizing all stocks of gold in China. Nearly all of his reforms have been rolled back in the time since then, so it is safe to say his attempt to mold China to his Confucian worldview has been a complete failure. On the military front, a desperate Wang Mang orders two of his top generals to take down the Red Eyebrows rebels after the utter failure of the imperial army in the previous year. As they pass through the capital gate on the way out of Chang'an, they pause to make a sacrifice to the gods of the highways. Rain begins to fall immediately, and the sages declare, quote, "This is because heaven weeps for the army," unquote. The army marches to Shandong during the winter, the season when the waters of the Yellow River are low. The Qin contingent comes into contact with the Red Eyebrows and are defeated. After the victory, the Red Eyebrows army splits, and some members begin to leave Shandong, which has been so utterly ravaged by the ongoing agrarian rebellions that the food and other loot has mostly dried up, and they move into the commandery of Nanyang just to the south. Nanyang is a rich agricultural basin and seems ripe for the picking, although small bands have already been operating in the area. A separate contingent has also entered Nanyang from the south, led by a man named Liu Xuan. These rebels are mostly accepted by the populace of Nanyang, but a portion of the locals take the opportunity to begin their own rebellions, with all of these armies entering their territory. Their leader, Liu Yan, forms an alliance with the army led by Liu Xuan, who's of the same Liu clan. Marching north, Liu Yan's rebel forces find initial success, but is soon defeated by Wang Mang's local army stationed in Nanyang. Liu Yan then regroups by successfully making the case for other rebel leaders to join him, greatly increasing the size of his army. Elsewhere, one of the other large rebel forces, the Lulin rebels, are suddenly afflicted by a serious plague of an unspecified nature, and at least 25,000 men die. This leads to the breakup of the group into three forces. One moves west, one travels to the north, and the third joins forces with Liu Yan. We will leave the situation in China right there. Continuing on with King Daimusin of Goguryeu's invasion of Dongbuyo, the minor state to the east which started the previous year. This year, Daimusin has Dongbuyo's king Daiso killed. This results in the annexation of this minor kingdom by Goguryeo, and with that, we end the year. We will leave this year, 22 AD, with Tiberius assuming that Tacfarinas' revolt is dealt with, Tiberius granting Drusus tribunician power, and Wang Mang with his back up against the wall with nowhere to go. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to be notified when the next iteration of the early histories will be released. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next year in 23 AD to continue the fascinating stories of the world of antiquity and cover its major events.